Now, from Into Tomorrow, this is an ITTV special report.
Our next guest is from the organization that helps organize IFA every year in a partnership with Messe Berlin. He is the spokesman for GFU, Roland Stehle. Roland, always a pleasure to have you. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm fine. Thanks a lot.
First thing out of the box, I always ask you to tell me what GFU stands for, because I will never in a million years be able to say the following.
Okay, it's Gesellschaft für Unterhaltungs- und Kommunikationselektronik.
Of course it is. That's why we say GFU for short. But basically it's the German Consumer Electronics Association kind of thing. Yeah,
that's right. And we're the owners of the brand name IFA. And together with Messe Berlin, we organize this nice party here in Berlin.
Funny you should say that, because not only is it our favorite trip every year here in this beautiful city of Berlin, but it's an incredible show that continues to grow. Here's a good example. This year, 22% more exhibitors. What does that mean for us consumers and us reporters talking about all these things? More new product, more new services, more things for consumers coming out.
Yeah, that's right. The more exhibitors we have here, the more news you can see and the more news you can talk about. And that's why we're glad to have this increasing figures here. And if you go outside, you see all the customers are very friendly looking because they are excited too.
That's a good point. Everybody's happy and wants to touch and feel everything, and that's what everybody wants.
That's right,
so how is the consumer electronics industry in general doing from GFU's standpoint, especially in this part of the world? The industry is strong?
Yeah, it's very strong now. We have an increasing market this year again. And worldwide, we see about 4 to 5% increasing figures for this year. Especially for Germany, we didn't have so much problems with the crisis last year. We had a very stable market, and now in 2010 it will grow also about 4 to 5%.
That's healthy growth when everything else is not growing.
Yeah, it's very healthy, of course. And for example, for Germany, if it works like it looks like now, we will bite this year the 10 million pieces mark or units mark for TV sets only in Germany. 10 million flat TVs. Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of excitement in Europe, as there is around the world, for new flat panel TVs. 10 million units in this country alone.
Only in this country, yeah.
Wow, you've certainly got a lot of folks' attention. Now, one of the things that IFA did 3 years ago was introduce home appliances to this big show. And how's that been going?
Oh, that works very well. And also, I've been to one of the exhibitors now from home appliances. They are friendly looking as well. They are very glad. They never had such an audience before. They had a big media exposures and lots of consumer coming to IFA, so it was the right step into the future together with home appliances. And so, it's 1 + 1 was not only 2, it's 3.
And it makes sense too, because I think the first year everybody was a little bit nervous. Is this going to work well? Because refrigerators and washers and cooking appliances and coffee makers and all the things you can imagine are not necessarily consumer electronics, as we tend to think, TVs and cameras and smartphones. But boy, they do work well together, and many of the companies, many of the exhibitors here are making all of these things. So, of course, they tie in nicely.
Yeah, that's right, because you see it every day in your home. You have both appliances together, and you go to the shops, you have also both appliances together. Washing machines near the TV sets. And lots of the companies, as you mentioned, they have both in their portfolio. So why not at IFA?
And especially with so many appliances either being able to somehow connect to the internet or somehow communicate with other appliances, maybe with some home automation and home networking, they're becoming more and more close together in many ways.
That's what we see this year. It's growing, and the home connectivity is one of the future themes we have to deal with. And we can see it works very good, and it goes hand by hand. And we're very optimistic for the future, yes.
Well you should be, because you've done a heck of a job in about, I guess, the last 86 years. Not you personally, because that would make you 100 and something. But the fact is that the 50th edition, since this all started back in 1924, this is now the 50th edition of IFA, growing dramatically and showing consumers that this industry is healthy. And by all means, we should all be not hesitating to buy consumer electronics.
Yes, of course. That's a good word. Good last word. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Roland, for joining us, as always, here during our broadcast at IFA.
Okay, thank you.
And, of course, more info, gfu.de.